Anime today has truly become a global sensation, spanning every genre, art style, and any kind of story imaginable. Each new season brings a wave of new shows, from exciting new series to long-awaited sequels. Since the 60s, the medium has grown into a vast library of series, so large that sometimes it's hard to even decide what to watch first. Among all those choices, one thing that usually affects people's decision is the number of episodes. When a show runs for dozens or even hundreds of episodes, it can feel overwhelming. Long shows also tend to start slow, and it's easy to lose interest before you actually reach the best parts. On the other hand, shorter anime can struggle with pacing. Sometimes the story feels rushed or ends too suddenly without a proper conclusion. We've all seen those 12-episode series that wrap up with no follow-up and leaving us hanging unless we go read the manga or light novel. Personally, I think the sweet spot is somewhere around 20 to 40 episodes. That's usually enough for me to really sink into the world and the characters. Most of my all-time favorites actually fall within that range. But that doesn't mean short anime cannot be powerful. Some of them manage to tell a complete emotional story in just a handful of episodes. And sometimes, even within that short number of episodes, it managed to leave a deep impression on me and deliver such an impact that it's hard to forget. In this video, I want to share some of my favorite anime shows that really stuck with me even though they wrapped up in just 13 episodes or less. No sequels, no follow-up movies needed. Just one complete story that stands on its own. Before watching Angel Beats, I was a bit surprised when I found out it was written by Jun Maeda, the same person behind all those emotional visual novels from Key Visual Arts. Before this, I've played Clannad and Little Busters already, both of which took me around 50 hours to finish. So when I learned that Angel Beats was an original Jun Maeda story told in just 12 episodes anime, I was a little skeptical. But those doubts disappeared pretty fast. The show completely blew me away to the point where I actually think it's one of his best works. It tells an emotional story about a group of teenage souls living in the afterlife, each struggling to come to terms with their regrets so they can finally move on in peace. Here, you can really see Jun Maeda's storytelling style at work, mixing comedy, strong characters, and of course, that deep emotional core that hits you right in the heart by the end. Angel Beats might be shorter than his other works, but it still delivers a complete and memorable emotional experience that stays with me long after it's over. Much like Angel Beats, Death Parade is also set in the afterlife, but with a darker twist. In this world, the souls of those who have just passed arrive at a bar called Quindism, where they must play games to determine whether they'll be reincarnated or vanish into the void forever. But unlike Angel Beats, which balances its afterlife setting with humor and colorful characters, Death Parade dives deep into something far more dark, philosophical, and mysterious way of storytelling. What I really love about Death Parade is the depth of its psychological and moral themes. Each episode brings together two people who have just died and forces them into a seemingly simple game. But as the game unfolds, it slowly reveals their darkest and most honest sides. Under the pressure, emotions like fear, ego, love, and guilt start to surface. I sometimes forget how heavy and serious this show really is, because the opening Anohana is one of those anime that at first I actually found hard to get into emotionally, but somehow this short 11-episode series ended up stirring something inside me, one that still haunted me to this day. It tells a story of a group of childhood friends who drift apart after the death of one of their own, Menma. Years later, her spirit suddenly appears before Jinta, the group's former leader, asking for help to fulfill her final wish and bring peace to everyone she left behind. Just hearing that premise already brings back memories of the final episode, a moment that still hits me hard even now. And don't even get me started on Secret Base, the ending song that to me is still one of the most unforgettable ending anime songs ever made. Vivy tells the story of an AI singer whose purpose is to bring happiness to humans through her songs, until one day she's assigned to a new mission to prevent a war between humans and AI that will take place 100 years in the future. Written by Eiji Umehara and Tappe Nagatsuki, the mind behind ReZero, and animated by Studio Wits, Vivy is a show that practically guarantees quality. It's actually hard for me to say what stands out the most in Vivy, but at the same time I can't really find anything I dislike about it either. Everything just feels so well balanced. It's this perfect blend of stunning visuals, emotional storytelling, beautiful music, and a world that feels alive from start to finish. With only 13 episodes, Vivy manages to keep a steady pace. Not too slow, not too rushed, but it builds up to an ending that's both tragic and deeply satisfying. When I first started A Place Further Than the Universe, I honestly expected a cute, comfy slice-of-life show, something relaxing and heartwarming, like most yashike or moe slice-of-life anime out there. But what I got was so much more than that. The story follows four girls, each carrying their own dreams and emotional scars as they set out on a journey to an Antarctica, not just to reach a distant place, but to discover meaning, courage, and a sense of who they truly are. What I love the most about this anime is how genuine its emotion feels. There's no over-the-top drama, no forced crying scenes, and no exaggerated conflicts, but every feeling, every tear, laugh, it all comes naturally. The chemistry between the girls feels real, full of warmth, jokes, and little moments of support that makes their bond so endearing. Combined with gorgeous visuals from Studio Madhouse, A Place Further Than the Universe became one of the most unforgettable slice-of-life anime I've ever seen. Tatami Galaxy is a masterpiece directed by Masaki Yuasa and produced by Studio Madhouse. It tells the story of a nameless college student who constantly regrets the way he lived his university life. He dreams of having the perfect youth, but no matter which path he takes, things always end the same way, in loneliness and regret. Through an endless loop of choices and timelines, he eventually learns that happiness doesn't come from finding the perfect path, but from accepting life as it is. This anime is honestly one of the most unique experiences I have ever had. From its wild animation style, expressive voice acting by Kamiya Hiroshi, and experimental storytelling to its abstract, colorful, and weird visuals, everything feels chaotic yet perfectly connected. Watching Tatami Galaxy felt like diving into a surreal world of thought and emotions. It is an experience I rarely ever get from any other anime ever. Serial Experiments Lain is one of those timeless anime that never really fades away. It tells the story of a shy girl who slowly loses the boundary between herself and the digital world, becoming a symbol of modern isolation in an age of endless information and connection. Released back in 1998, this anime was incredibly ahead of its time. It explored the psychological impact of the internet long before those ideas became part of our daily lives. How identity can split between the real and the digital, how constant connectivity can lead to loneliness, and how piracy and authenticity can slowly disappear. These are themes that feel even more relevant today, decades after the show first aired. Devilman Crybaby is a reboot of the classic 1972 series Devilman, directed by Masaki Yuasa. Unlike the original, which had a more heroic tone, this version is much darker, more brutal, and more intense. I love Devilman Crybaby because how fearless it is. It doesn't hold back from showing something raw, emotional, and brutally honest about the darkest sides of humanity. It's a reflection of our modern world, full of hate, loneliness, and a lack of empathy. And with Science Saru's expressive animation style, every scene feels like a beautiful nightmare. Strange, uncomfortable, but impossible to look away. Pong the Animation is a sports anime that aired in 2014, directed by Masaki Yuasa, which makes this the third anime on this list directed by him. The art style of Pong might make some people hesitate to watch it, but trust me, this series carries a deeper story and more message than most other anime out there. Unlike typical sports anime that focus on flashy action, epic tournament, or the usual shonen-style friendship energy, Pong the Animation dives into something more psychological, exploring identity, insecurity, and the true meaning of competition. It's a story full of heart and depth, touching on self-discovery, friendship, and what it really means to win, making it feel much more mature than your average sports anime. With its experimental visuals, psychological storytelling, and complex characters, Pong the Animation stands as not only one of the best Masaki Yuasa anime, but one of the best anime I've ever seen. To this day, Sonny Boy remains one of the strangest and most difficult to understand anime I watched, yet somehow it's also one I can never forget. Its unique concept and bold refusal to follow any of the usual anime formulas make it a truly original experience. It doesn't stick to traditional storytelling structures, but maybe that's exactly what makes Sonny Boy feel so experimental and one of a kind. Its visual style isn't particularly flashy or conventionally beautiful, but it has a very distinctive atmosphere that feels beautiful in its own way. The unique characters and the interesting and emotional ending also make this anime one that I still remember fondly to this day. One more thing that still sticks with me to this day is the soundtrack. I've never gotten tired of listening to it, even now. While working on this video, I still find myself playing the songs from this incredible anime soundtrack from Sonny Boy. At first, I was a bit hesitant to include Lycoris Recoil here, since technically a second season has already been announced. But honestly, I still consider the first season to be a complete and deeply satisfying story on its own. Lycoris Recoil takes place in a seemingly peaceful world that's actually being secretly controlled by an organization called DA. They use young girls known as Lycoris to prevent crimes before they happen. Beneath the calm surface of the city lies a manipulative system that enforces a false peace through assassinations and total surveillance of its citizens. Beyond its intriguing concept, what really makes this anime stand out for me are the two female leads. Their chemistry is so much fun to watch and they carry the story beautifully. The animation is top-notch, filled with cool, high-energy action scenes that are genuinely thrilling. In just 12 episodes, the show managed to tell a complete, well-paced story with a truly amazing climax. Honestly, I thought it didn't even need second season, but now that it's been announced, I can't lie, I'm really excited. Technically, Puella Magi Madoka Magica also already has movie sequels, but honestly, for anyone who's seen the original series, the story already feels complete in just 13 episodes. Written by Gen Urobuchi and produced by Studio Shaft, this anime has a character design that can easily mislead new viewers who don't know what they're getting into. At first glance, it looks like a cheerful magical girl story, but beneath that cute surface lies a dark, emotional tragedy about sacrifice and despair. With soft, surreal, symbolic visuals paired with Yuki Kajira's beautiful soundtrack, Madoka Magica builds a world that's both beautiful and deeply unsettling. The story is full of twists and moments that often left me feeling depressed, but the pacing kept me watching non-stop until the very last episode. With such an emotional ending, this anime has become one of the best I've ever watched. Takopii no Genzai is a 2025 anime with a total of 6 episodes, and it's the main reason I even thought about making this video. It's been a huge topic of discussion in the anime community, and for good reason. Both visuals and the storytelling are amazing. The series beautifully blends innocence and tragedy in a way that's genuinely heartbreaking. Beneath its cute and simple character designs lies a dark, emotional story about trauma, guilt, and the desperate search for happiness in a cruel world. The mix of raw emotions, complex moral themes hooked me from the very first episodes. And even with just 6 episodes, Takopii no Genzai managed to leave a lasting and emotional impact with every single one. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Takopii no Genzai isn't just one of the most memorable anime of 2025, but also the story that will be remembered for years to come. Like some of the other anime I've mentioned, Odd Taxi is a perfect example of why you shouldn't judge anime by its cover. Even though the visuals and character design look simple, underneath that surface lies a gripping story full of drama and mystery. The storytelling in this series is incredibly tight and well connected. Every little detail ends up being important. The characters feel deeply human, each with their own ambitions, loneliness, and fears that make them easy to relate to. The show blends mystery, psychological drama, and sharp humor in such a clever way, with dialogues that keep you hooked from start to finish. When Studio LM announced an Odd Taxi movie, I was honestly a bit skeptical, but thankfully it turned out to be more of a movie version of the series, with just a few added and cutscenes. I think Odd Taxi didn't need a sequel. Its mystery and emotional payoff were already complete. With only 12 episodes, Odd Taxi delivers a solid mystery, strong characters, and some of the sharpest writing I've seen in anime. It's easily one of the best and most well-written anime I've ever watched. And that's it. Those are some of the anime that I think are truly great even though they have only a few episodes. Each one managed to tell a complete and satisfying story despite its short length. To anyone who's watching this, I hope this list can help you looking for a short anime with solid endings, something you can enjoy without having to wait for a sequel or dive into a manga or light novel. If you think there are other anime that deserve to be on this list, feel free to drop them in the comments. There's a good chance I just haven't seen them yet. I would love to discover more amazing works I might have missed. And for everyone who's watched this video up to this point, thank you very much. Have a nice day. See you in the future.